I'll be ranking every legend upgrade in the game. There's like 100 upgrades in the game, so lock in for this one. So it gave me alphabetical order, which I didn't want. I'll be doing the upgrades in the order that you see them in game, starting with Bangalore, ending with Catalyst. For my grading criteria, the main component will be how good the perk is in terms of like strength, how much value you get from it in game, and maybe like a personal component of, this perk's kind of lame type stuff. But mostly it's just gonna be how actually good it is. And I'll try to rank each perk on its own merit, not on how good the character is or how good the character's other perks are. So let's just get into it. Starting with Bangalore, not starting out very strong at all. These perks right here, her blue perks, are just cooldown reductions. And you're like, okay, cooldown reductions on my ability, that's not too bad. It's also just they nerfed the character's cooldowns and then reverted the nerfs basically in the upgrades. So already it's kind of lame, but sure, let's think about the value. 60 seconds on the ultimate sounds pretty good. But honestly, the cooldown is very long in general, and getting a cooldown reduction on that ultimate is not really doing a lot for you. I'm putting it in C tier. D tier for me is little value or no value at all. And I do think it provides a little bit more value than little to no value, but I don't think it's a lot. Alternatively, I'll put smoke in B tier. If you're playing Bangalore, your smokes are the bread and butter of your kit. They're good for making plays, they're good for staying alive, they're good for everything. So getting uptime on your smokes more often is crucial for the character. So in B tier, that would be what I would consider a good perk. C tier is just okay or average. And in general, these perks are just kind of lame. So like, there's that as well. But yeah, smoke's pretty good on the cooldown reduction. Next, we have cover me. Auto ping enemies who trigger double time. See, this one's kind of hard to grade. This information can be really good in certain scenarios, but a lot of times it's just like you're getting shot at, dodging the bullets, and oh, I know where he is. A lot of times it's not going to be useful. I'm putting it in C tier because I think it can provide value, but a lot of the times it's not. The pings are not like a perfect scan or anything like that, but just kind of getting an idea of where to line up your sight can be very useful, or knowing where to avoid. Next is healing inside smokes. So this one's really good for like if you get really cracked and you just pop a bat in your smoke and you get extra healing on the way. If you're like in a close range engagement, that'll give you a little bit extra health for your engagement. At range or just while trying to rat or whatever, you know, getting the extra health while healing is also good just to stay alive. But most of the time, you're gonna have to pop a med kit or a syringe anyways to get full health. It's a pretty slow health regeneration. And also you have to keep in mind, they nerfed the smokes to where they don't last nearly as long anymore and they're not as strong. So you don't get as much raw HP anymore, I think. I'm gonna just put C tier. I think it provides some value, but I don't think it's like that good. A lot of times these perks are gonna be very circumstantial and I'm just gonna try to weigh them on like most scenarios, like the average scenario. Like I'm sure there's some time you're gonna get this auto ping on your enemy, you're gonna know where they are and you're gonna clip them for it. But like I wouldn't put it in S tier because in that one scenario, it gave you the information you needed to win a fight, you know? All right, we're gonna move on to Fuse, and ring consoles apply to Fuse, Alter, Vantage, and Pathfinder. Now, at face value, when I think of this perk, I'm like, that's a lot of value. You're getting the ring console information, and you're getting Evo charge from it. But we're talking mostly about the normal game, as in ranked and normal play. I'm not talking about competitive here because most of the people watching this video are not playing in competitive. So first of all, in normals, D tier. D tier normals, but I'm gonna talk ranked. In ranked, for me, for this guy right here, A tier. A tier. I get information on how I want to rotate, and I get Evo charge, getting closer to purple. Very effective. On characters like Fuse and Vantage, you can definitely get value from sitting in zone because you have that range. A little bit less on Pathfinder Alter, although you can do shenanigans with their movement abilities. For most players, B tier at best. You're not going to zone in ranked. No one's doing that. And if you are doing that, guess what? You're getting ran at by a 3-stack pred team with red armor. In theory, this perk is amazing, but in practice, it's just like you're getting the Evo charge, and that's great. And that's about it. The ring information is rarely useful unless you're really bunkering down with like control characters. But if you're bunkering down with control characters, you don't need this perk to begin with. So yeah, Scar Tissue and Fuse basically makes it to where his ult does like very little damage and doesn't slow him. I mean, this perk is actually better than I think most people think it is because it gives Fuse the ability to play aggressive with his abilities. Pretty much like a kamikaze Fuse, which will go into his other perks. A lot of times you don't want to ult yourself though. It's kind of like a last resort or an end game type scenario, but two things on that. One, you want to use it a little bit better than on yourself, but with this, it's easier. And two, in in-game scenarios, guess what? You're playing ranked, you're probably not getting to those small circles, so you're not going to see that as much. I think at its best, it's an A in the right scenarios. But I think the majority of the time it's like giving you some value, but not a lot. So I could see it C or B, honestly. Me personally, I value it more than most players, I think. It kind of just gives like a whole different way to play Fuse. I'm just gonna put it in C because I don't think it's like amazing or anything like that. But I think if used correctly, it could probably be higher for sure. Knuckle clusters give you speed boost on hit. When this first was revealed, I thought it would be very strong, and it's not weak by any means. Like, you get a knuckle cluster hit and you push up with speed, that's great. Or if you're mid-fight, you throw a knuckle cluster, you get a speed boost, you can dodge some bullets or whatever straight for round. It's kind of hard to measure the amount of value you get from this. It's definitely not A or D. It's somewhere within here, and it's kind of hard to gauge it. In a close range scenario, it's going to be very good if you get your knuckle cluster hits in, which should be pretty easy. So that speed boost can help you a lot in a fight for sure. If you're just using range Fuse, you're not going to get a lot of value from it. So it really just, it's one of those things where you just depends how you're playing the character. But I'm gonna be charitable and say if you're using it like aggressively, the speed boost can help a lot. Reckless, take 50% less explosive damage. I actually think this is A tier because you gotta think about two ways. One, it allows Fuse to tank his own abilities, but it also just lets him take less nade damage from every single person in the game. And a lot of times, nades are very crucial in these fights. I guess it just depends who you're playing against, but I mean, yeah, just being able to tank nades universally is very good. Like, obviously in a fight where no one throws a nade, yeah, you're getting no value from it, but a lot of times people are throwing nades. And also, again, it just allows Fuse to tank his own abilities because you're probably going to hit yourself at some point in close range. I think this is just a better perk at higher level when people get better at nades for sure. Okay, next, Murder Machine. This is Rev and Ash. Call out never squads 150 meters after a squad wipe. I actually think this is a D tier, and I'll give you a couple of reasons why. Number one, you're not squad wiping in this meta. One of them players are running away on Loba, Lifeline, Mirage, Conduit, something. They're running away and they're crafting. That's what they're doing. So you're not even getting the squad wipe. But even if you do get the squad wipe, if there's a squad there thirding you, you're probably screwed already. Or you should be aware that they're there anyways. And when you, like, if you're just finishing the fight and looting the boxes, that's just you kind of being a bad player, let's be honest. Like, at least one player needs to be like, I'm looking around. Now, with normals and ranked with random players, I could definitely see more value with this than like a squad that knows what they're doing. I mean, I'm sure you could write a scenario where you getting this calm makes you play right and then you live and win the next fight. I just really don't like this perk. It's kind of lame. It's kind of just a lame factor for me, I guess, because I do see how the information could be good, but again, in the meta and all that stuff, I'm just gonna put in D because I think it gives you little value. I mean, you can fight me on it. I just don't like it. Okay, next. Using passive tracks enemies' position on the map for 60 seconds. This is Ash's passive on the death boxes. I'll say right now, I don't like Ash passive much at all. Using her passive tells the enemies that you're there also. 60 seconds of tracking on the map is very strong though. But for me, it has to go in C tier at most because the condition to activate this ability is that you have to activate Ash's passive, which in general is it's not like a guaranteed thing you even get some games. And even so, like the information from this, like you might not even be actionable of it, like they're across the map or something. I just don't really like her passive, and I don't like that you're forced to play around her passive for her blue perks anyways. Like a hyper aggro team could get more value from it, but generally speaking, while 60 seconds to scan is very cool and very good, I just don't like this perk. The conditions is too high for it to be like consistently good. And that's going to be a theme with a lot of perks, is like, how easy is it to activate? Like, how often are you actually getting value from it? Greedy Snare, you're always going to get value from this if you're throwing your snares at people. I think it's been demonstrated that this ability is way better than people give it credit for. I think in the right meta, it could be even S tier if Ash was better. I think it's maybe A tier. In the current meta, it could be B tier because it's kind of hard to hit it with all the shields and stuff. This one's a little hard to rate for me. It really is just about how well you use it. I think S tier would have been way too high in general, actually. I take that back. I think it's easily A tier, though, in the right meta. Maybe B tier currently. I'll just go with A tier because I'm gonna try to keep it unbiased from, like, the current meta. But yeah, if you haven't used Greedy Snare or, like, seen the effects of it firsthand, I'd recommend trying it. It's definitely better than this one, which is 2 arc snares. Now, I do think 2 arc snares is just straight up good. Like, the snare itself is a decent ability. Getting 2 is just good. Like, you're getting value from 2 tacticals, straight up. I say the main value of having 2 is it gives more room for error and you can like hold 2 spots instead of 1, but the potential of the greedy snare is so high. Okay, so this is auto reload shotguns on Maggie. Maggie synergizes well with shotguns, and shotguns are very good right now, so I think it has to go in A tier for sure. Like a character that's centered around shotguns in a shotgun meta. Now this perk is directly correlative of how good shotguns are in the game, so it kind of has to take into account the meta. I think it's definitely just A tier right now. Okay, Fireball. Okay, Fireball is literally griefing yourself. Fireball literally makes it to where wherever your ball goes, you can't even push, which is usually where you're trying to go anyways. Even if you're just using the ball for movement speed, you're running into your own thermites. To make this ability good, literally just make Maggie immune to thermites. Add that as a second sentence, like Maggie is immune to thermites. That simple. And then guess what? This perk's actually, okay, it's pretty good. But right now you're just griefing yourself. Like those thermites are never catching where you want them to catch anyways. Like it's a fun idea and concept, but it just never works out. It's griefing yourself, honestly. Okay, Drill Slinger. So basically you get 2 drills. They lose duration a little bit. Definitely just B tier, similar to the arc snares. It just gives you more room for error. You can use it a little bit more. It doesn't really nerf it much at all. So yeah, it's straight up just good value for sure. Big Drill is definitely better in my opinion. While it gives less opportunity to do it more, it makes it way more impactful where you do use it. If you ever played against this ability, you know that whatever cover you're on is kind of unplayable for the most part. I think it's A tier because I do think it is better than the other one for sure. Like, would I describe this ability as great? I think so, yeah. I mean, it seems impactful. All right, we're on to Ballistic, my least favorite character in the game. Whistler duration in the world is tripled. I think it's C tier, maybe? Because, like, you put it in a doorway and it holds the doorway for 3 times longer. So it's kind of like a little trap. I mean, I wouldn't say you get little to no value from that if you're playing the character well. So yeah, I think it's some okay value. Slingshot, sling weapon levels up with each upgrade selection. So basically, as you level up your armor, your sling weapon gets better. Me personally, I think this is D tier because I feel like if you're just running a 3rd weapon, if you're using for close range as a second option, you're probably dead by the time you pull it out. If you're just using it for like to cover a range option, like long range, mid range, sure, you would get some value from that. It kind of just depends. I think realistically it is C, because if a ballistic player is using this, they're probably getting value from that gun. But then I think to myself, well, that sling weapon is going to be gold when you pop your ultimate anyways, and anytime you're fighting, you should pop your ultimate. So it's like, you're not really getting value outside of fighting. I mean, I'm not a ballistic player. Me personally, I think it's low value. I think it's kind of like I think it's some poo-poo, honestly. I think it's some poo-poo. Because like every time you're fighting on ballistic, you pop that ultimate and you get a gold. And the cooldown's really low for the ultimate, I think. I mean, ballistic, I know ballistic mains will disagree with me. So I'll put it in C. Wait, no. Hold on. Now, that's my tier list. I'm putting it in D. I'm putting it in D. I don't care. I don't care, ballistic mains. You picked the wrong character. You expect me to trust your judgment? No, I do see the value in it, but again, with the ultimate redundancy, I just don't even like it. I just don't like it. I'm just gonna leave it there. Double the number of Whistler charges. Okay, I mean, it's just straight up B. The Whistler's decent for like dueling people. Getting 2 of them gives more potential to be annoying. Honestly, you're just being annoying. Short speed boost on Whistler hit. Very similar to the Fuse thing. And this one's easy to hit as well. Am I overrating these speed boosts? Because a lot of times you're going to be using these like aggressively, and a speed boost can be really good. God, now I don't know. I think I might be overrating these speed boosts. Oh yeah, I'm not confident on this anymore. It sounds good to me. It seems good to me, like B tier. I mean, do I see these speed boosts making a huge impact in these fights? Maybe. The difference between this one and Fuse Knuckle Cluster is Knuckle Cluster can hit multiple times within a big area. This one can hit 1 time, and it's very easy to hit, but it's just once. That's kind of a big thing for me. I'm just gonna put it in B tier. I'm not confident on that. Look, I don't even play this character, so just sorry if I'm wrong, but I'm probably not, honestly. I'm like that. Okay, field research. This is Pathfinder hitting recon scans. I think it's easily S tier. Even with the Pathfinder nerfs, this perk paired with his kit is just really good. You also get some Evo charge off of it, but most importantly, you get a huge UAV. You can choose to play aggressive or to avoid people. It can dictate the course of your game completely with that information. You can either pick up KP or stay alive, whatever one you want to do. Resets the ultimate stuff, gets cooldown stuff. S tier for me, for sure. I think recon scans are just very strong. Grapple cooldown resets on knock. Okay, so with the grapple having a higher cooldown, this gives a little bit more value. The thing about this one is it is conditional that you get a knock first. It doesn't count assist either. Like in theory, this sounds really good, but it's very conditional. It's definitely just C or B. I think B if you get it consistently. If you're like a really good person at fragging, probably B, even higher potentially. On average, I really do feel like it's just C, like you get decent value from it, like some value. If you already have your grapple up and you get a knock, you get 0 value from this as well. So I think, yeah, with all the conditionals, I think it's C tier. I think if used effectively, it's higher, but I'm just kind of thinking as like an average, I guess. I'm really just not a fan of perks that are like highly conditional. I like when they just give you straight up value without having to do much for it, like hitting a scan or double tags, stuff like that, or improved abilities. Zipline Zen take 25% less damage on the zipline. This got hard nerfed from 50%, which I don't agree with. They could have just did on middle ground like 35, 40. This is not how you balance the game. First of all, you don't just gut it completely. Now, every pro player will tell you right now, it's trash, it's dog shit. And, you know, it's easy to understand why. I think players tend to, when something gets nerfed, I think people tend to just write it off completely. Like think back of how Seer got nerfed back in the day and then he was still OP. In this case, like you're still getting decent value. Just to put it in a numbers perspective for you, if you're taking 200 damage on a purple, you would die, but instead you'll take 150 and you can live off of it. I think that value is definitely there. Like it can definitely keep you alive. Think about it as it giving you 2 more shield cells as health. I think it could, before it was definitely S tier. It's kind of hard to say because I haven't really tested it extensively. I think it could still be good, but I'm just going to say it's okay because realistically, 50% to 25% is a huge margin and you're going to die a lot more. Like it's not saving you every time now. It might save you sometimes. And for that reason, I could see it higher. I don't know. It just depends. I guess it just depends. I don't know. I'm just going to put it in C. Okay, we're on to Wraith. And passive warns when nearby squad count increases. Okay, I got to say this right now. I guess y'all Wraith players never picked this because y'all don't communicate nothing. So I'll say that. So I think if you're a Wraith player, the average Wraith player, you're getting no value from this because you're not paying attention. You're just running stuff. And obviously, if you're on a Wraith, you're probably near everyone in the game because you're trying to run it down. But let me think if I'm on Wraith. I'm getting value from this if I'm on Wraith. A little bit at least, but I'm not on Wraith. So let me... So the thing about this is it's literally just the death box one here for Ashe and Revenant that I didn't like before, but it's free. Like you just get the information for free without squad wiping. So it's definitely better. I don't really know the range. I think if you're like an active communicator with your team, it could be B, but this probably isn't the case. So it's probably C at best. And Wraith players tend not to communicate at all until after they die. So I'm putting it in D. Now, I mean, I really do think this one has a little bit more value than that. More than this one for sure. Because it's just a better version of that. But I don't know. It just doesn't seem like, yeah, I'm being prejudiced right now. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Wraith players. Now, realistically, I think it could be C, though. But I'm just going to put in D. It's also just kind of lame. Ultimate cooldown by 60 seconds. This is, like, really good. But also, okay, I'm sorry to flame y'all, but, like, I swear y'all Wraith players don't know how to use portals. They just know how to run in. I swear on my life. If you're a good Wraith player and you know how to use a portal, this is probably B tier because this portal can do a lot. Like aggressive, save your life, whatever you want to do with it. It's really just dependent on you actually using the ability and kind of being clear with your team. I think in that sense it could be B. I don't think the portal is that good, like in our current meta. It seems like it takes the cooldown from 3 minutes to 2 minutes, which is pretty good. I just think it's okay. I just don't think, I don't know. I just feel like this ability could have more value. It's just I've never seen it. Yeah, I'm being a bit of a dummy with this one, I'll be honest. I really don't hate you Wraith players, I swear. I'm just fucking around. Reduce tactical windup by 20%. Wraith players might swear by this one, I don't know. It could save you in niche scenarios, but I don't even think the Q is that good. I mean, you'll definitely get some value. Yeah, I don't think it's great. Cooldown by 5 seconds on the Q, same thing. Like just getting it more often is like you're gonna get some value probably. I mean, it's not really that good. It's just race abilities aren't even that good. Even if these cooldowns were like super short, it's like just not great. Yeah, sorry Wraith players. I mean, you just don't got perks like that. Okay, we're on the Octane. Jesus. But taking 5 less stem damage, I mean, you're just getting raw value from that already. I mean, I think it's kind of lame, but I mean, it makes pushing better because you have a little bit more health and you can spam it more, sure. Extra launch pad charge. This is also C tier purely because the launch pad just isn't that strong. It's very easy to die off of them. Being able to have 2 is awesome. If the ability was better, it could be B or A. They just need to buff launch pads, I guess. Okay, thick skin, take 5 less damage again. First of all, lame as shit to put the same perk twice. I understand why, but it's just very lame. I mean, literally speaking, it has to go in C tier because it's literally the same thing as this one. But I think if you're getting a purple version of the same perk, it should give you something in addition. Like you couldn't just add something to it, you know? It's just very lazy. So I would want to put it in D tier because I'm just being a Karen, but like I put it in C tier to be fair. It's the exact same thing, whatever. But bad design, just, you know, we can do better than that. Change directions with the launch pad double jump. All right, so if you're on controller, maybe you get a little bit of value from this. But honest to God, I don't even think the direction change is good at all. Like it's really bad. And it's very easy to kill someone who does it. So it's either little to no value or even griefing yourself in some scenarios. I'll put little to no value because it probably could be used good for some positionings. But that double jump, like redirectional, is just very weak. And obviously tap strafing is just way better if you can't do that. Oh man, this is gonna take forever. Leave a like and a comment and a subscribe. I'm gonna be here for a while, so I'm gonna try to get my energy back up because I'm just here reading all these abilities and I'm just like, this does this. But I'm gonna try to like it back in. Got a little bit of water, hydration, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Let's move on. Revenant. Reduce ultimate cooldown by 30 seconds. Okay. I mean, with this current state, it's not that great, honestly. I mean, it's just C tier. Like, you're not getting little to no value. Well, 30 seconds, though. I mean, 30 seconds off of a 3-minute cooldown is not nothing. I'm gonna say it's actually little value. I don't know. It's either little value or just some. I don't know. I guess it's just some value. It's not, like, little, per se. I mean, at this current stage, it's just because the ultimates is definitely nerfed. It's definitely low C for me, if anything. Yeah, I just don't really like these types of abilities, and especially when it's only 30 seconds on a somewhat weaker ability. I don't know. I just have a hard time saying it's little value on an ultimate, especially on a character like this where you're hyper fighting probably, so you want it back as soon as possible. Reduce tactical cooldown by 5 seconds. Same thing. Just C tier. Pretty lame. You're going to get value from it. It's just like not, I don't know. I just don't like it. Grim Leaper, Shadow Pounce, cooldown reset on knock. On Revenant specifically, this is pretty good because you are probably frontline fragging. Again, it's conditional. I'm putting in C tier for my own preference. I don't really like abilities like this. Because again, if you already have it up, I just don't really like it that much. Like obviously it has a high ceiling of skill, but I'm bad at the game, so. It could definitely be way better than C. I'm just putting it in C because like it's going to give you some value for sure, but not like, it's not going to be consistent value is what I'm saying. Bat Pack. Okay. Okay, so the thing about Bat Pack is it is giving you consistent value. It is. You get a free inventory slot pretty much. Especially on Horizon, you can run 6 bats in 2 slots, carry an extra nade. That's very good for Horizon. Lifeline and Conduit, not so much. I mean, you could just carry 3 bats instead of 2 because you're support. Support's overpowered. Seeing batteries in the boxes are kind of a non-factor. Somewhat good. It's whatever. In my heart, I like putting this in D, but I cannot argue with the value of an extra inventory slot. You cannot argue with an extra nade or whatever. I think it's probably C. On Horizon, it could even be B for carrying an extra nade for your ultimate. Makes that way better. But I think it's just C. It's going to provide you easy value, but it's such a lazy perk. It's such a lazy perk. It should be in D, but it is providing you value for sure. 1 inventory slot is value. Big Bang. See ordnance through walls and in death boxes. This one is easily D tier. You know what you do with this one? You see this one that Fuse has, the 50% less explosive damage. Just combine these two and give it to both of them. Both of them want to pick up nades, and both of them can take advantage of taking reduced damage from nades. Like if you're on Horizon and you have to ult close range, you're probably gonna take some damage from nades yourself. And it's also just a good perk. You combine these two together and just do what Backpack did with like the vision and the increased inventory. And that would be a good idea. If you didn't want to combine these two, you could just give Fuse passive on it as well. Let them carry 2 nades per stack. That one's really strong for sure. But I think you just gotta combine this. Like this perk is so ass. Just combine it like you did with Backpack, and it's that simple. Reduce tack cooldown by 5 seconds. Her tactical is very good. It's going in C tier. 5 seconds is obviously going to be noticeable, but like you're usually using it to enter a fight, and then if it comes back, you can use it again in that fight quicker, which could be effective. And then just general convenience. Again, these cooldown perks are very lazy. I don't like them that much, especially on a purple perk. It should have something on top of it, like they did with Newcastle and his blue perk. We'll get there. But yeah, I mean, these perks, you could probably argue more value for a lot of them. It's just, they're so lame. Same thing here, ultimate cooldown. This one's definitely less value for me. I mean, I might even argue this one little value. I mean, it's not like you're getting it back in that fight. I mean, you could get it 30 seconds earlier if you engage in another fight that could be effective. But like, that's very circumstantial type thing. I guess that's the case for a lot of these though. I don't know. I don't even like the ultimate cooldown reductions. I just think they're very lame. Like, they need to give a cooldown reduction and then buff the ultimate in some way. Like, if I'm being fair, it's probably low C. I'm putting little value, man. I really just don't see value in taking this. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting fed up with seeing all these cooldown perks. There's so many of them. And this one is not one I would want to take. All right, we're on to the best character in the game, Alter. Reduce tack cooldown by 10 seconds. That's pretty substantial, actually. But also, her tactical is not that great, especially in base. A lot of times you're taking that tactical either to run away. If you're using the tactical to, like, be slippery, I think this gives a lot of value, actually. In terms of using this tactical in a fight or aggressively, it's pretty dog shit, to be honest. It's more better for getting away than pushing a team. But I have to be honest, an Alter who's really good at using the Q to be slippery and kind of getting around terrain, and having 10 seconds reduction on it, I mean, I might be crackhead for this, but I think it's actually B tier. Like, this is good value. Like, if you're good on this character and know how to use this stuff effectively, and you know the environments it can work on well, you can definitely do this to do some tricky stuff, I think. Not so much for aggressive plays, because you just get clipped as soon as you come out, but still. I think it's very good for being slippery, and a lot of people to this day, when they see an Alter, they get a little bit like, oh, what the heck? Because no one plays the character. So I actually think that kind of makes the character a little stronger in a way. Extends highlights and C health bars after exiting the tactical. So this by itself is actually really good, I think, the vision. But let me say this. If you're coming out of that tactical and you see them, it's probably not doing good because you still got to pull out your gun out and then kill them first. And they're probably going to kill you. Like, maybe you take cover, you see them, and you can use that as value offensively. I think for the most part, this Q ability is just not great for making the aggro play a lot of times. I'm putting it in C tier. I think the vision is actually really good by itself. It's just like paired with this Q, it's kind of hard, if that makes sense, to get the most value out of it. But it is nice vision, don't get me wrong. Okay, this ability is going to be very hard to rank. I think the skill ceiling and the ability to use this is probably higher than most people think. So it gets 2 ult charges and you can have 2 at one time. So I've yet to use Alter. And I've yet to see anyone really take advantage of this. I think this could actually be A tier, especially with a coordinated team. But honestly, I think it's at best B tier currently in her current state because, one, the character's just ass for the most part. And also, taking the action you have to use to take the portal is very slow and oftentimes can just get you killed when you're trying to use this portal to get out of there in the first place. So for that reason, at best, I think it's B. It can have some really good functions for repositioning and stuff like that, and like pushing up, coming back, stuff like that, resetting. But I think the ability itself just needs to be buffed in terms of the usage of it. I think this ability has a lot of potential. I'll just leave it there. We're on the Bloodhound Recon characters. Double the duration of Tactical's full body highlight. I think this is at best C tier. Like, you're not actually getting more value of what the ability is doing. It's just like a little easier to see, which can make it easier to line up your shot, but it's not really giving you much extra. It's kind of that simple. White Raven's charge ultimate by 20%. I mean, I'm tempted to put this in D tier. I think it sounds better than you think than it is, especially because Bloodhound ultimate is just not that great, especially after the Recons getting digis and their ADS, and then digital threat being nerfed in general. Like, the ultimate's not that good. Yeah, you'll probably have the ultimate a lot more, but I just don't really see it giving a lot of value right now. Like in the ultimate, what you're getting now is just increased speed, pretty much. Like the black and white makes it easier to see and you don't have to ADS. I just don't think it's that good. I don't think the ultimate's that good, and I don't think this perk is that good because of that. Like, I'm not scared of a Bloodhound in an ultimate anymore. I'm just not. Reduce tactical cooldown by 50% while ultimate is active. I think this by itself might be B tier because giving your team information on where everyone is in a fight is very good. And doing it 2 times as often is going to be very effective. You can use it multiple times in the ultimate. I do like this. I just think the character is just not that strong. But full recon in a fight, which is when you're going to have the ultimate active, is pretty good. And that's just point blank. Flock, remove enemy range requirement for white raven spawns. This one's potentially griefing yourself because if you're a good bloodhound, you're using the ravens to gauge if someone's nearby. But when you do scan the ravens, it's telling you how close they are. So it's kind of like a weird interaction there. I think paired with this ability, it's like, okay, yeah, you can get them like mid. It's good with this ability if you just want to have your ultimate at all times and like with people near you. I don't really think it's that good for like ranked or anything. It's just kind of like if someone's near you, it's just like, I don't know. It's just like the Raven's going to tell you anyways. And if you're not getting Ravens, you should be suspicious. I just don't really like it. I could see it being high. I could see these two paired being higher. I just don't like them personally. All right, network expansion on crypto. Increase Neuralink and EMP range by 25%. I don't know about y'all, but this is griefing yourself. This just makes it to where when you use an EMP, you can't make a play off it as easy. Like you're more likely to hit yourself or your team. Like odds are you're hitting the EMP on what you want to anyways. The Neuralink expansion is not that great because they're just going to shoot your drone if you're constantly showing anyways. Yeah, this just makes it to where you can't make a play, similar to the Maggie Ball. I just don't like it. Like a big EMP sounds fun until you realize you're just hitting yourself more often. Just make you and your team immune to it with this perk and it's better, way better. Off the grid, crypto gets cloaked when entering the drone. This was S tier when it came out. I think now it's C tier because you definitely get the value of it at range. Like you're just full invis, no one can see you. I think it could even be B because a lot of players still won't expect it. But I think like if you're going against players who know what this ability is, they're going to find you. It's fairly loud. The flickering shows exactly where you are. Like it's not very vague. It's not little to no value. Like you can definitely get value out of it, especially at like a more mid-range scenario where you can kind of just throw it out, you know? Like I don't think it's absolutely dog shit. It's just like nowhere near as good. Drone scan persists for 1.5 seconds. This is good for like peeking with your drone and then putting it to safety. You get a scan for over a second, which is pretty good. And then the short scan on ultimate hits is very good because you're hitting an EMP to make a push and knowing where they are is very effective because they're probably just going to sit there and heal, and knowing where they're healing is very good. You can get a clip on them, and just having that general information off of an aggressive ability like an EMP can be very nice. I actually think this one's A tier, honestly. Like the information off the EMP is great for your team to know where people are when you're about to fight. The scan persisting is pretty good. But yeah, I think it's actually A tier. I really like this ability. Hackathon, speed up drone recharge rate, so it's more likely to be up, which is very good because without the drone, you're not a character. And get a speed boost when it explodes or when you EMP. I think this is B tier. It's pretty good. Getting the speed boost off the EMP makes it a little easier to push. Having the drone up more is obviously good because the character is nothing without the drone. But I would rather have the better scan information off a push than just a little speed boost. Like these speed boosts can be great in certain scenarios. All right, we're on to Valkyrie. Launch 15% higher with Skyward Dive. I honestly really like running this, but I have to admit, the 15%, here's what I do. Bump this up to 25% and make it to where she launches faster so it's harder to kill her. Because like currently, it's almost like you're giving them more chance to kill you while you're popping the ultimate. And 15% is just not the greatest buff. I think, you know, just make it fun where you can go a little bit higher. Now there are certain places where this can make or break the ultimate, and there are a lot of scenarios where it won't have a big effect, but at least you go a little further. I do think it can be a little bit underwhelming in terms of its impact, but it has a very high ceiling for what it can do. For that reason, I'll put it in B tier. I do think it should be better, and I think it's probably C tier or even D tier depending on how you use it. But I'll put it in B tier because of the potential to go over areas you couldn't before. and you always get a little bit more distance on your rotation, which is just straight up good value. Okay, so this is the type of thing I want to see with these tack cooldown abilities. -5-second tack cooldown, and it modifies it to be wider. Now, I don't necessarily know how effective this is, but I do like when you give a cooldown reduction and then alter the ability in some way. I also think this is B tier. It's a tack cooldown, which is good. The missiles are not as effective as some tacticals, but it does change the missiles and make it, in my opinion, better. And it makes it potentially more effective. I mean, I don't really know exactly. Like, I like it, but I don't know, I don't have the stats on it. But it's a tack cooldown and a modification, which I like. Full tank increases jetpack fuel by 25% and reduces the refuel delay. Okay, so the 25% is pretty good. You can just fly more. And the refuel delay is actually pretty big. Like, the refuel time is very slow at base. Like, you have to wait over 5 seconds or something like that. It's like 5 or more. It's very slow. So if you're playing a more aggressive movement type Valk, this is very good. I think it's just B tier, straight up. Eyes in the sky. Enemies were revealed from further away and through walls while skydiving. This is one of my favorite upgrades in the game. It's S tier for me. It's basically just a UAV for the most part. You can choose to land on a team or avoid landing on teams, whatever you want to do. It's versatile, lots of information in the most crucial moment when you need it. I really like this ability. It's amazing. All right, we're on to Seer. Increased throw range of ultimate by 20 meters. I'm just putting this in D. Like, if y'all are having fun throwing your ult a little further, preempting it before, like, as you're sliding in, you can have fun with that. I think the value is little. It's not no value, it's just a little value. Like, sure, you can make the argument, oh, I can get in a better spot, but I don't know. It's just a little bit of value. Reduce ultimate cooldown by 20%. Seer's ultimate's just not that good right now. Also, this is written as 20% instead of like a raw number like the other ones. I don't know why. I'm just putting this in D tier, man. I'm just putting it in D tier. I don't really like Seer. I don't really like his ultimate. Don't buff it either, honestly. Increase passive and tactical range to 75 meters. This is B tier. It pretty much makes the character from like unusable to somewhat usable. I still don't think these abilities are easy to hit or anything, but like the range before this upgrade, it's just like you're not getting much value at all. At least now you can know if a team is like somewhat close. Gain a focus of attention charge, but reduce the silence duration by 50%. I think this is C tier maybe, if not D. I guess it just depends how you play the character. It gives a little bit more room for error, but like then your Q is less effective. And that silence is a big part of it. Like, yeah, the scan's nice, but the silence is kind of very strong. If these abilities were easier to hit and just better, it would be higher, but it's just C tier because it's a little bit hard to hit sometimes, and it's just not great, and it also just nerfs it. It nerfs the part that you want the most, I feel like. All right, Vantage. Ultimate accelerators grant +2 bullets and are twice as fast. I think this is B tier for Vantage. Her sniper is very strong, and you're playing around the sniper as a character, so you want to run this. Like, that sniper is just very good. It's just straight up. Now, the sniper is probably a little less strong in this meta because you just get Lifeline revived or Newcastle revived, and the sniper is not doing much, but in general, it's a very good perk because it makes the ultimate more available and you're playing the character for that sniper. Improved tactical double jump. I'm gonna be honest, man. I tested this one. I'm putting little to no value. Now, Vantage mains could probably fight me on this one. It's barely noticeable. They just need to buff the double jump more. It's just like, I'm sure it's noticeable in a little bit. It's just not good. It's just not that good. Like, you're getting a little bit of value. I'm being, look, just buff it. Just buff it. I think it should be a good ability. It should be C or B tier. It sucks. Refresh tactical hits on ultimate. It's just one of those abilities I don't like. But in this scenario, hitting a sniper shot is a lot easier than getting a knock, I think. But you're usually at range, so I don't know how much value you're actually getting from it. I'm just gonna put it in C tier. It's not low value. It's not that good, I don't think. I think it could be good. I don't know. It's just one of those things, high ceiling, but a lot of times you're not getting the most value from it. Gibby ultimate radius increased by 20%. When I first saw this, I was kind of excited until I saw the next perk, but I just don't think these radius ones are as good as you think it is. I'm putting it in C tier. It's just one of those things that sound really nice. Then, like, I've compared the sizes, and like you can kind of see it. It's just not that impactful in your actual game. In fact, I could even think of it as little value. It's just, I don't know. It's just one of those things that sounds and seems like it should be better than it is. This type of ability just like buff it in some way, make it last longer, make it do more missiles total, something like that. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I just really do not think it's as good as it seems. Move faster with shotguns, auto reload shotguns on Nox. So he pretty much got Maggie's passive and Maggie's legend upgrade. S tier. Gibby runs shotguns, point blank. Shotguns are meta, point blank. Getting move speed and auto reloads, point blank, just good. S tier. Baby Bubble reduced attack size by cooldown by 25%. 25% cooldown reduction is fine, but like, why not just give it cooldown reduction? Why do you need to nerf the actual size? You could have just done a cooldown reduction. In certain scenarios, you are griefing yourself. You're getting value in the cooldown reduction, but you're getting less value from the bubble, potentially. For the most part, just having a better cooldown on a AoE protector ability is just good value, I think. Like, it's just, it has okay value. Like, if there's no Maggie around and you're just being shot at, having your bubble up more often is just a good thing. I think C, maybe lower. It just kind of depends. The next one, increased tactical lifetime by 4 seconds. I think this is B, if not A, depending on the scenario. You're just getting a lot of value from this. Like, if you're throwing out your bubble, you're probably in an exposed area where you need it, a lot of times at least. Like, sometimes you don't need this extra time, but when you do need this extra time, it will show and it will save you for sure. I can see this one even being higher, honestly. Because I feel like when I don't have this, my bubble just goes up too quick. It goes away too quick. Yeah, I could see this even being A. Extended flight on Lifeline is C tier for me. Like, you're going to get some value from this. If not just for the fun of it, you're going to be gliding around the map a lot, even if you're not getting actual value, it's just for fun. In certain scenarios, you can kind of glide around, avoid enemies, like around corners and stuff, and certain POIs, stuff like that. I don't think it's that good. I don't think it's great, but I do think you can see value from it. If for no other reason, just enjoyment of the character. Increase distance you assign dock by 50%. If you're on Lifeline, you should be near your team anyways, so I'm going to put it in little to no value. If you're that split from your team, like you shouldn't be, your Lifeline. That's kind of my rationale for that. Reduce tack cooldown by 10 seconds. Pretty good. I mean, just having it up way more is effective. It's very simple. I'm not going to keep talking about these cooldown ones, like, it's just that simple. Lazy, but, you know, it has effect on your game. Renaissance Man from Barrage can use survey beacons, ring consoles, munition boxes, assault bins, sir, and can scan care packages. This is D tier. Just kidding. S tier, top of S tier, by the way. You're getting survey beacons, which is already S tier. Now, you don't get 75 evo from it, but whatever. You also get assault bins. Assault bins are very good. You don't have attachments on your guns? Now you do. Ring consoles, again, and ranked and stuff like that, not that great. Scanning packs is not that great by itself, but sometimes there's a pack, you're like, hey, we could play for this gun. It's a gold nemesis, you know, or gold charge rifle. So you get a good gun if you play for it. Generally speaking, the Recon character, the Recon alone makes it S. Option for ring console is like, okay, sure. Scanning care packs are circumstantially good. And then assault bins are just good by themselves. So yeah, S tier, top of S tier. If you got Evo charge off of it as well, it would be in its own tier, I think. Boozle Eye. Successful bamboozles also highlight enemies for a short duration. No one's ever picking this perk, but I'll tell you, I think it's C tier, maybe B tier. I don't know. So let me put it this way. You're already pinging exactly where the enemy is. The only thing this is going to do for you is you know where they are already, but it'll, like, if you're picking a corner, you can line up your shot directly on their body, which is great. So for that reason, I could even see it being B tier, but it's also circumstantial that you hit a bamboozle first. So like at its highest level, you hit a bamboozle, you get a body scan, you peek a corner and kill the person. Or like you kind of get a good angle and line your side up, get an A. But I just think for a general purpose, maybe for lack of using it, it's C with high potential. Because you're just not always going to get value from it. I don't know though, the scan does seem nice. It's just like you have to get the bamboozle first, which isn't that hard. Yeah, I'm gonna yap too long on this one. It's very hard for me to gauge this one. I think it could even be higher though. I'm putting it in B. I think it's probably better than people think it is. It's just you're running Renaissance Man in every game, so you're not seeing this value. Okay, gain a decoy charge, can have both active at once. So paired with the last one, this one has a lot more value. I think this is B tier because having one decoy is a little easy to discern. When you have two and you're managing them effective, you're bamboozling people all the time. They expect to see one clone moving around with the main character, not two. Even if they know about this perk, people shoot them all the time. I promise you they shoot them all the time. I'm in pred lobbies, they're shooting them all the time. You can watch ALGS, they're shooting them. And that information is good. It's good information, and you're getting it all the time. Plus, even disregarding the bamboozles, it is a lot easier to make a risky rotate if you have two clones running with you. If even for a second it causes them not to aim at you, that second saves your life. It really does. It's kind of hard to prove to people the value that these clones provide when used effectively, because like it's kind of like a negative proof of, hey, I'm not taking damage, but like you can't really prove you're not taking damage because of them, if that makes sense. So yeah, I actually think his clones are a little bit better than people give credit for. Refresh tactical on successful bamboozles. I don't like this nearly as much. You're limited to one clone, which makes it to where you don't have as much like potential to trip people up. And getting the refresh, like the refresh isn't that good because I feel like with the two clones, you're having them up all the time and you're getting like the cooldown's pretty low. I think this is potentially little to no value. I think it's little value. I think it's because I'm comparing it to the other one though. Yeah, I just think this one's so like not that great. It's harder to proc and compared to the other one, and you're limited to one still. I could see it being C, but like I don't know. I just don't like I don't like that one. All right, Loba Wolf Claws, faster weapon draw speed and speed boost after translocating. I think this one might be S tier. If you're trying to run away, your speed boost helps you run away. If you're trying to push a team or play aggressively or fight, the speed helps you and the weapon draw speed helps you. It's just very versatile. It's easy to use. And on top of that, Loba has 2 Qs now. So you're getting these effects twice effectively. And I think for the purpose of just running away and crafting your team, which can reset your whole game, I think for that alone, it's easily A or S. And then for the aggressive plays, pretty high as well. Yeah, I might be overhyping this maybe. I could see it being a high A, but I think it might be S tier because Loba is just running away and recrafting the team. Squad can take an extra item from the black market. I think it's C tier. Like it's decent value, but a lot of times like you're not seeing that many great items near you, honestly, and especially with being able to grab infinite ammo and small heals. Like you grab 1 or 2 attachments and you're chilling. Like yeah, there'll be certain scenarios where there's a lot of good stuff nearby and you want to grab it all, but for the most part, you're not getting that value a lot. After translocating, regenerate 50 shield. This one's easily A, if not S. I think it's A though. I think the other one's better. This one's very good for the same exact reasons. Like if you're running away and you get hurt, you get free healing. If you're in a fight and you take damage, it's faster healing or more like you can heal mid-fight without actually having to heal it. I could even see this S tier. I'm putting it in A tier. I don't think it's as effective, especially because the damage thing, if you take any damage, you lose it. I might be off the perk with this one. I'm stuck between these two, actually. I think both of these are crazy good, though. I don't know. They could both be A or S. I just think this one's more effective for what Loba's like realistically doing in these games, which is running away and crafting, though. I mean, do you disagree with that? And like I said, with this one, same stuff, so. I'm putting A. I can see the argument, though. Grants the entire squad gold backpacks. Straight up just B tier, I think. Gold backpacks are just nice and convenient. And the whole squad getting one's nice. You're guaranteed getting good value from that. It's literally giving the whole team backpack for the most part, which by itself is a C tier, on top of being able to carry extra med kits and phoenix kits if that's what you're doing. Yeah, just B tier. Gold backpack's pretty good. Newcastle, oh man. Increase revive move speed. So people don't run this no more, but it's still very strong. I think it's easily B tier. Like you don't necessarily need it to be good reviving on Newcastle, but it makes it a lot easier, especially in like aggressive fights. But yeah, B tier, I guess. But this one's just way better. So before it was increased move speed of the mobile shield to weapon sprint speed, which is good. But also reduces cooldown by 8 seconds. When they did this, I want you to know. Yeah, they made it to where you can destroy it now. But this perk went from having just increased speed to having 8-second cooldown reduction. Keep in mind, a lot of these tactical cooldowns have like 5 seconds off, right? This 8-second cooldown reduction puts it to a lower cooldown than before it was nerfed. So you get it quicker now, and it's just better. This is easily A tier. Easily A tier. I don't think it's S, because you can destroy it, but yeah. You just get it way more often. It's faster. Pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, Ultimate Savior. Castle Slam grants 15 seconds of shield regen to each ally in the impact area. Once again, easily A tier. I could see it being S, depending on the scenario. I think it's A, just consistently. Like if you're slamming on your team, resetting, getting free shield health in a fight, it can be amazing. I think you'll just find that this is very effective anytime you're fighting. Stronghold, 500 castle wall HP, and extends the energized barrier to 3 minutes. Now, me personally, I always picked this one because when I'm thinking of playing the game, I'm thinking almost like in an AOGS type of format. Like I want to set up a good spot and I want to hold it. In actual effect, in a normal game, people are not destroying your walls. So this is almost not that noticeable. The energized barrier duration, you're probably not sitting in the same spot for 3 minutes in a ranked game. If you are, nothing's happening. And by the time this is up, I mean, you already have another wall. The value this gives in a competitive environment is really good, like really good. In ranked and normals, man, it's just like, you're just not getting the value from it. I think it's C tier, honestly. Even though I myself always picked it a lot, it's just, you're just not, you're not holding that spot for 3 minutes a lot of times. And if you do, you got your wall back anyways. And it's not like the energized duration on the base wall is short. And like I said, unless there's just a rampart nearby or some really good team, they're not destroying your wall anyways. I think this could easily be A tier. It's just like in actual effect in our games. Unfortunately, it's C tier. All right, we're on to Conduit. I'm going to say it. I don't like any of Conduit's upgrades except maybe this one. But again, it's one of those radius ones. Each ultimate jammer's damage radius increased by 10%. I think this is only good because there are so many of them. It's not that big a deal, honestly. I've compared the sizes. It covers a little bit more area. And the ultimates aren't that strong. I mean, I like this upgrade. I don't think it's that effective, honestly. I think it's C tier. Like, you'll get some value from it. A lot of times you won't. Yeah, just that simple. Okay, gain a tactical charge, but have the shield regen duration. Now, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head or how this works, but I think this is actually griefing yourself. I don't remember the exact reasoning. There was just something about like having 2 of them is worse for you. I can't remember exactly why. So it's either griefing yourself or little to no value. I can't really explain it off the top of my head right now. And I'm getting a little gassed out reading all these perks. Honestly, it's been a lot of reading and thinking, and my head hurts. Radiant Transfer, increased tactical range by 10 meters. In practice, this is effective. You'll get a little bit of value at least. You'll probably get decent value if you're kind of a little bit split. I will say this ability kind of nerfs her passive though, because if you're trying to get to your teammates, if you're within shield range, you lose the speed boost from further away. So it's harder to close the gap. So in a way, it can grief you if you're just trying to get to your team faster, depending on how you're playing the character. So yeah, I mean, it's either little to no value, griefing yourself, or some value. I'm gonna put little to no value, honestly. No, actually, I put it in C tier, because like, in the times that it does matter in a fight, that little bit of range can make or break the shield on your teammate. So I'll put it on some value. But like I said, it can kind of grief your passive in certain scenarios. All right, we're on to Caustic control characters. Increased tactical throw range by 75%. This is actually pretty good, I think. Now, Caustic and his gas themselves are pretty weak right now, but being able to throw those cans long, like a further distance, is actually really good for holding more space from a distance. I think it's more effective than you would think, because you don't have to just run up to the spot. But the problem is that the Caustic himself is just so weak right now. I think if he was stronger, this would be B tier. Actually, like even like I didn't think this perk was very good to begin with, but after using it, it is very nice. It's just good. It's straight up good. Nox Vision persists for longer. I can see the case for this being little value. I think it has some value. I think it has some value in certain scenarios. Just being able to see the enemies easier for longer is very nice. I think most of the time you're getting little value from it though, unfortunately. Particle Diffuser, you increase the ultimate area effect by 50%. This is just one of those ones that sound really good, especially in an endgame scenario, which you're not getting to 90% of the time or more. I think it's at best B tier in the right scenario. Most of the time C tier. The range increase is just not that crazy, especially with the gas being weak. I don't know. That's simple for me. Regenerate HP when in Nox gas. C tier. It's just one of those ones that you can get value out of pretty easily, but it's not like make or break a lot of times. Like the extra HP regen in a fight can be good. It's a little bit more effective than Mangalores in a fight, but it's way less effective than Mangalores for escaping and healing type of thing. So yeah, it's just, yeah, whatever. All right, we're on to Watson, Revive Expert. She basically just gets to support class, revive teammates faster and with HP regen on full shield. This is B tier. I mean, this perk is just straight up good. And on a character like Watson who can kind of like defensively hold space passively, it's a little easier to get than if just a random character got it. Now, in the current meta, it's like everyone's running support anyways. So in the current meta, it's just like not really much value, right? But in a future meta, if support was just not played, for example, this would be pretty damn good. Maybe even higher in a non-support meta, but yeah. Pylon intercepts spawn arc stars. This is okay. In like a normal game, this is okay, like a ranked game. I think it has a lot more value in competitive when you're just bunkered down in a spot and then you get free nades. If you're playing zone and ranked, I mean, you just don't really do that, but unfortunately. It's definitely good in the right scenarios, but for the most part, you're not getting a ton of value from this, so probably just okay. I do like it, though. I like the idea. Okay, double ultimate's HP and place ultimates regain charge. I mean, this is just straight up good. Basically, infinite shield. It's harder to destroy the ultimate and has infinite shield. This is just straight up good. Again, like, you're probably not going to see the most value from this infinite shield because you're not going to sit in the exact same spot for a mega long time. But if you do for an extended period of time, it is very good. And making it a little bit harder to kill is just convenient, I guess. In competitive, though, it's definitely A or better. Emergency power, double ultimates, max charge, meaning double shields, and the charge and the shield rate is double as well. So you get double heals and double speed of heals. This is just better in like every scenario, I think, except if you're just bunkered down for it forever. But in that case, it still might be better because by the time you run out, you can have another one down. It's not like you have one pylon per game. You get what I'm saying? So you could just put another one down, and then you get double shield, double speed. It's way better for fighting because you can get the shield faster, and the double shield is still a plenty. So yeah, I think it's just A tier because of the recharge speed being faster. It's very good in competitive as well. I'm gonna try to stay away from competitive. I don't know. I keep talking about it. Champ's coming up. I'm getting tired here, man. I'm getting tired. Look at all these perks I'm staring at, man. But yeah, I do like this one a lot. The other one sounds really good, but in practice, it's just not as good. Sheila, this is Rampart Sheila, reduce ultimate cooldown by 30 seconds. I mean, you're certainly getting some value from this. The Sheila is super good. And if you're playing Rampart, you're playing for her walls and likely for Sheila. If you're playing around Sheila, this is just good. You're going to have her more often. Carry extra ammo per stack. It really just depends on your loadout. When I was running Rampart, I ran this sometimes. I don't know why, honestly. I mean, just a little bit more inventory space can help you carry extra bats, I guess. I wouldn't say it gives little value. Well, if it gives you an extra inventory slot, I don't consider that little value. Do I? Am I wrong about this in Backpack? Because, yeah, I think this essentially does the same thing as something like Backpack. You're pretty much just giving yourself an inventory slot, for the most part. The thing is, it's consistent value. Like, I don't think it's bad. It's just not that good. Which is kind of what C is for me. I don't know. I might have to rethink some things. I don't know. I think an extra inventory slot is just like okay, consistent value though. I think I'll just stick with that for now. If you want to call an extra inventory slot little value, I guess you could do that. Ramped up. Improve Sheila's handling and spin up time by 20%. I think it's just B tier because Sheila is so strong. And making Sheila faster to use and more effective is just good. Reload faster with Sheila or when behind amped cover. I actually really like this perk. The problem is if you're playing Rampart, you're probably wanting to play around Sheila. But if you're not doing so, it is a good perk. Like imagine you have a gold charge rifle and you just like, it's so fast to reload. Or if someone's pushing you and you're playing behind your walls, let's say you use all your shotgun bullets, you're going to reload them faster, which could just make or break the fight. I say the convenience and the clutch factor of this is pretty good. I mean, I personally like it. I think it's good. I think it's good. On to Catalyst, increase max number of spikes by 1. It's just one of those ones like, yeah, you'll get some value from it. I'm not even gonna go crazy on that. Increase ultimate length by 15 meters. I think this is good. Again, it's just one of those ones where they nerfed it and buffed it back in perks. The length, yeah, because a lot of times you're wanting to use this wall to get from point A to B, and that length can make a big difference. So B in a good scenario. Rebuild and reinforce missing doors. This one's very circumstantial. Generally speaking, I think it's C because a lot of times you're not getting the value from it. But I mean, if you're holding down a space and you want to peek those doors, I mean, it's pretty damn good actually. Yeah, I think in a good scenario, it can be B or higher potentially. Most of the time, probably. Actually, I'll just put it in B. I think the door rebuilding is good in the cases that you want to have it. It's just if you don't have a door, it's useless type thing, you know? But I think when you do actually use it, it's pretty good. Increase ultimate lifetime by 5 seconds. I'm putting this in B tier. It's kind of like the extended Gibby bubble. Like this wall is cutting off all vision of you, ideally. And so having that extra 5 seconds of not being shot at can save your life and give you more time to do what you need to do to make a play. And that's everything. Oh man. So most things are in C tier because a lot of these perks are just like kind of lazy, circumstantial, cooldown reductions is whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of the C's and B's could be interchanged. I do think that. Like, for example, I don't know if Zipline Zen is B tier. I don't know that. Grapple Renox, in a really good case scenario, could be way higher in C. I'm just kind of like thinking about it in a on average type of perspective. There's some I might even want to move down. Like, I just don't like Ash passive, but I do see the value in this. Like this Caustic Gas one, I do see the value in it, but I don't know, man. It's just so hard. I could definitely see myself moving stuff up like Scar Tissue for a Fuse. I don't know. I think a lot of B and C is just very interchangeable. I think my S tier and A tier is pretty strong. Maybe you could argue against like the Snare, the Drill. But I think those are just really good. The Bracelets are just straight up good. Newcastle is just good stuff. I like this one for Watson. I definitely don't think I would put anything that's not in S tier in S tier. Unless I'm just like completely missing something. Except for maybe this one. Listen, man. Look, this is my tier list. Anyone can disagree. Anyone could disagree. Feel free to post yourself for almost 2 hours staring at all these, talking about them. Request in the comments. I'll send you this. This is the details for every single passive I screenshotted. I'll send you the whole thing if you want to do this yourself without having to go find the abilities. Just ask. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty satisfied. It's just like some guy who mains a character is gonna come in the comments and be like, actually, this perk's way better than you give it credit for. Sorry, man, I didn't play your character like that. I'm just making a tier list. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sure I missed the mark on something. Like someone's gonna come in here with these ravens, be like, actually, they're very good. You just don't know. And I'll be like, okay, you got me. You got me. Someone's gonna say, actually, the EMP is amazing. The EMP size and the Maggie Ball. I love the Maggie Ball. Yeah, man. Just let me know what you think. Be nice though, man. There's 100 of these. There's 100, okay? It's a lot to think about. All right, with that being said, this is my tier list. I don't think any tier list I do beyond this one will be as extensive because if I do like a legend tier list, there's 4 times less stuff, so it's way easier. And plus these perks are like, some of them don't get used. Some of them don't, like you don't even see them, or they're on characters you don't even play. So it's kind of, it's whatever. I'll leave it there. There's the tier list. Take a screenshot. Post it on Twitter. Be like, look at this dude with his stupid tier list. He's wrong about everything. I'm tired, bro. I always get tired around like 4 to 5 p.m. So I'm kind of gassed out. I'll holla at you though. Bye.